Tuesday, 6 a.m., thousands of people try to log into work. Access denied. Oracle just cut 30,000 people this week while posting a $6 billion in profit. No warning, just a logged badge and a 6 a.m. email. Goldman Sachs says that AI had zero economic impact last year. Zero. And yet 60,000 tech jobs are gone in Q1, all blamed on AI. Both are true. And Jensen Huang just explained why and what it means for your job. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand. Let's start with Oracle, because it's the most impactful story this week. 30,000 people gone just by email. No HR meeting, no advanced announcements, no call with your manager. An email from a generic Oracle leadership's address. Here's what they said. After careful consideration of Oracle's current business needs, we have made the decision to eliminate your role as part of a broader organizational change. As a result, today is your last working day. Here's the part that should make every mid-career engineer freak out and pay attention. The people who got cut, they were not juniors. Reports say that, well, from LinkedIn and some internal forums, show that senior engineers, architects, operations managers, leaders, and program managers were all impacted. These are people with 10, 15 years of experience. Why is Oracle doing this? Because they had been committed to an aggressive AI infrastructure build-out that requires an estimated $156 billion in capital spendings. Then later on to say in this article that Oracle disclosed a $2.5 billion restructuring plan in its March 2026 10Q SEC filing. They are betting on the entire company to be the AI cloud provider. And they need the cash to get there. So people go. The pattern here is what it matters. Oracle last quarter reported $6 billion in profit. So this is not a desperation. It's reallocation of the spending. From people to infrastructure. Here's what CNBC article reported.
In fact, there was a TD Cowen report last month suggesting that 20 to 30,000 layoffs would free up about around $10 billion. We're looking at the stock up just about 3% here. More as we get it, guys.
So they did the math. The people worth less to them than the cash. Okay, second story. And this one is a little wild. Last week, a security researcher found that Anthropic had accidentally exposed nearly 3,000 internal files, including what appeared to be a detailed draft blog post about their next big model. It's been called Cloud Mythos, internally codenamed Capybara. The documents described it as Mythos sits above Opus in Anthropic's stack, making it their most capable general-purpose model. They also went on to say it's a step change, not version 3.5. It's described as a qualitative jump in reasoning, coding, and security-related tasks. So why does this matter for your career? Because it will reset the benchmark for what AI-capable models can do. So let me come back to that paradox. 60,000 tech jobs gone in Q1. 30,000 of them were from Oracle alone. Zero economic impact, according to Goldman Sachs. How are both true? Goldman's March 2026 AI adoption tracker found that fewer than 19% of US companies have deployed AI in production. 19%, which means 81% of those companies are not using it yet, despite 3 years of AI, nonstop AI headlines. Here's what's happening inside that 19%. Goldman Sachs reported that workers at companies with enterprise AI accounts are saving 40 to 60 minutes per day. 75% say that they can now do tasks that couldn't do in the past. Across a team of 50, that's 30 to 50 hours recovered productivity every single day. So the productivity revolution is real. It's just extremely concentrated right now. The companies capturing it aren't waiting for the technology to mature. And the companies that aren't using it are falling behind, even though it doesn't show up in national statistics yet. Now, add Marc Andreessen's take from this week, because it adds a layer most people are missing out. He went on the 20 VC podcast and said,
Why are we seeing layoffs? Why are we seeing layoffs everywhere? Why is every CEO I'm meeting saying, "Oh, we're flat headcount or we're reducing"?
That's very easy. So number one, interest rates. As you know, so interest rates were at zero, and then interest rates went from 0 to 5% at record speed like 3 years ago. And companies, every company had to replan. Every big company had to replan all their cost of capital went up 5 points. Like they all had to completely replan financials. And then number two is they all overhired during COVID. Like the hiring binge the companies went on in COVID was just like wild. And so specifically what you have happening right now is you have essentially every large company is overstaffed. We could debate how much. It's at least overstaffed by 25%. I think most large companies are overstaffed by 50%. I think a lot of them are overstaffed by 75%. And now they all have the silver bullet excuse, right? It's AI.
and then Marc and Andreas went on to say something that should make you feel a little bit better.
Right. And I know this. I know this for a fact because number one, I talked to them, but number two, I know this for a fact because AI until December, right, was not actually good enough to do any of the jobs that they're actually cutting.
The real risk is not a company replacing you with a model today. The real risk is your company's competitor deploying AI, getting that 40 minutes a day productivity per person, and then running circles around your organization until your company has to restructure. That's the real slower, quieter version of what's happening around us. And it's more dangerous than the dramatic headlines. Now, let's talk about Jensen Huang because he said something interesting this past week on Lex Fridman's podcast that I think it's the first useful concept and framework to come out of AI and jobs conversation in a long time. Let's take a listen.
I want to make sure we all do is to recognize that people are really worried about their jobs. And I just want to remind them that the purpose of your job and the tasks and the tools that you use to do your job are related, not the same.
Read that again. Your job is not the same as the task you use to do it. He gave the most concrete example of what this means. Radiology.
It's the story, the first job that computer scientists said, AI researchers said was going to go away was radiology. Because computer vision was going to achieve superhuman levels. And it did. And yet, the number of radiologists grew. And so the question is why? And we now have a shortage of radiologists in the world. And so, one, the alarmist warning went too far and it scared people from doing this profession that is so important to society. And so it did harm. Now, why was it wrong? It's because the purpose of a radiologist, the purpose is to diagnose disease and help patients and doctors diagnose disease. And because we're able to study scans so much faster now, you could study more scans. The hospitals are making more money. You have more patients in the hospital. You need more radiologists. I mean, the number of software engineers at NVIDIA is going to grow, not decline.
Now, the question for you is, and I really want you to go ahead and sit with this, is what is the actual purpose of your job? Not the tasks, the purpose. What judgment do you bring that a model doesn't? And lastly, what relationship do you hold? What context exists only in your head? And that is what's doable. That's what stays yours. Jensen Huang, also in the Milken Institute Global Conference, went on to say, you are not going to lose your job to an AI, but you're going to lose your job to someone who uses AI. Do you agree? Here's 3 things you can do this week. 1. Separate your purpose from your tasks. Write 2 columns. Leave every task on the left and the purpose on the right. Then ask which tasks AI could do adequately. Those are your lowest durability activities. The right column is your main value. 2, run a real-world workflow and measure it. That's the important part. Take something that you actually do regularly, writing a spec, drafting a status updates, and run it through Claude and GPT-5. Time both of them. Write down the delta. And lastly, the Model Context Protocol crossed 97 million installs this March. It's now the standard that lets AI agents connect to external tools. You don't need to build with it, but you need to have some experience with agentic workflows because that will be in your future on every job description. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And in order to thank you for that, here's a picture of my dog, Caden. And I'm gonna let you go with a smile. Jensen Huang says you're not gonna lose your job to AI. you're going to lose it to someone who uses AI. So it's still a people problem, and we're great at those.